No matter where you come from, no matter where you're going, here's a place where you can take comfort in the knowing that whether if you've come to stay a while or just passing through, this door is open to you. Come and let's be silent. Come and share a hug. Come, let's pray together. Come, love and be loved. From the blissed out to the turned out, from the pampered to the abused, this door is open to you. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. The God in us recognizes the God in you. The God in you. Whether you're black or white, gay or straight, Christian, Buddhist or Jew, this door is open to you.
Everyone. Wow, a little pent-up energy getting released there, I'd say. Gosh, it's so good to see you all. Welcome to those of you who are watching online today. You are so in our hearts. You are so with us in spirit today, and I'm glad that you've made the choice that's right for you, even though we miss having you here. But this is a small and mighty group today, is it not? Yeah. And I just find, having been cooped up, that it's just particularly great to just see people, isn't it? Like, it just feels so deeply good to just look at your faces. And we've just begun for a little while here anyway. But great to be together, great to be able to connect with those of you who are not here via live stream, and to continue to feel that connection whether you're here in person or not. Certainly, it's been one heck of a week, has it not? Can you imagine? It's just, I can't even believe how much has changed in the last week. And certainly we have lots of opportunities to learn and grow and do our spiritual work and in some new ways to not resist what is. And to really kind of do a little bit of deeper work and also realize the great wellspring of spiritual resources we have within us to get us through the challenges that we're facing. One of those resources is our sense of humor. I just invite you to remember that. You have a great sense of humor. So here's a little cartoon I saw online that might lift your spirits a little bit. So it shows a dog with his owner. The owner is wearing a cone around his face, and the dog is saying, "It's for your own good. You have to stop touching your face." Don't you just know dogs would love to get that kind of revenge on us? all learning some new habits, aren't we?
It's really a good idea, though.
What's that?
Cones. If they had clear plexiglass cones, it would be perfect.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. See? Innovation opportunity. Well, I do want to share with you that today will be our last live service for the next 2 weeks. So after, I know I feel just that way, but we must do the right thing. And I'm absolutely convinced, and our leadership team is convinced this is the right way to go. So for the next 2 Sundays, there will be no 9 o'clock service, and the 11 o'clock service will be live streamed only. So you will be our virtual community here for a little while. And we'll get through it. It gives you an opportunity to experience the service remotely if you haven't done that before. And I keep thinking how absolutely awesome it's going to feel when we come back together after this. You think we feel that today? Just wait, right? So just so grateful that we have live streaming, to our wonderful live streaming team. We have this available to us. And we're looking at other things we may be able to do, other ways we can reach out to serve people and provide some spiritual nourishment and support in the weeks ahead. So stay tuned on that. I also want to share some sad news concerning one of our very most beloved congregants here. Our dear, wonderful Linda Salmon made her transition on Friday after about 5 or so years of a cancer journey. Linda was just one of the most incredibly radiant human beings I've ever known. Has been here a very long time. Her father was here, parents were here before her, and she always said that when she came here, she didn't hurt. When she came here, she felt filled with joy. So we are planning to have a celebration of life service for her on this coming Saturday. Don't know the time yet. Stay tuned to our website and to our Facebook page, and we'll get the word out about that. And while we're on that subject, I'd really just like to give a very deep and heartfelt appreciation to Hazel Gaines and Ann DeMichael, our beautiful prayer chaplains who truly were there all the critical times at the end with Linda. And I know you're just the most incredible blessing to her in her send-off, so thank you so very, very much. Unity is a positive path for spiritual living. We follow the teachings and the example of our way shower Jesus in seeking to more fully love ourselves, love God, and love one another. What we are surely learning more than ever right now is that it's all about love. And so in that consciousness of love, we honor all paths to God, all names for God, and all expressions of God. And we know that each and every human being, including each and every one of you and each of you watching online, we know that you're an expression of God. We value that, we honor that, we cherish that. And in that spirit of inclusivity here at Unity, we welcome everyone. Our vision at Unity Renaissance is, together, a spiritually awakened world living in peace, love, and joy. And we are manifesting that vision through our mission, which is, together, we transform lives that transform the world. Let's begin our time of transformation this morning in prayer. I invite you to close your eyes, take a deep breath in, filling your lungs with the beautiful, rejuvenating energy of spirit. Release and let it go. Know that whether you are here in person today or whether you are tuning in online, that you are in your right and perfect place. You've responded to that call of spirit to be a part of this service today. As we come together in spiritual community today, we just take a moment to send out a wave of blessing and prayers for the well-being of all those healthcare providers, of all the emergency responders, everyone who's going above and beyond right now to help people who are afflicted by this virus, to be the ones to see them through it, to give them the love and support that they need. We send out just a wave of love to them and affirm their well-being. And we say in our hearts to them, thank you. And let us also send out a wave of prayer to our beloved Linda. Now in her next iteration of life, we see her spirit flying free. We see her liberated. And similarly, we hold in our hearts her beautiful children, her wonderful family, and all those who've loved Linda so dearly. We know that her spirit lives on. For this, we are truly grateful. And for this service today, we are grateful. We're grateful to be together and to feel that wonderful human connection, knowing that this, most of all, is what sees us through our hard times. Thank you, God, for this truth. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Paula. Y'all ready to learn a new song today? Let's stand up, please. We're going to play it for you and sing it for you.
acquired skill of social distancing, I invite you to turn to greet your neighbor with a bow and join me in our divinity salute. Together, the divine in me greets the divine in you, and we serve and celebrate together for the glory of God.
Good morning, Unity Renaissance. Aren't they amazing? I'm your platform host for today, and a special welcome to all of you out in your homes this morning, joining us, tuning in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Our word for today, Our word for today is pray for others. What a gift that we can do that. Please join me in our affirmation. As I pray for others, I affirm unfolding good in their lives and mine. The Lord is near to all who call upon him, and to all who call upon him in the truth. Honored by the trust of those who request my prayers, I listen with compassion and release all thoughts of illness, lack, limitation, or inharmony, knowing that my responsibility is not to set the situation right, but to see it rightly. I look beyond challenging conditions and attune to the essential truth that the one for whom I pray is created in God's image and is seeking to express God's likeness, just as all people are, just as I am. I know that the divine presence, the Christ, is present both in me and in the one for whom I pray. It restores wholeness in mind and body and emotions, guiding all decisions, inspiring, prospering ideas, bringing harmony and peace to all relationships. Following today's service, we have prayer chaplains that are available to pray with you in times of challenge or celebration. You will meet them in the chapel outside the doors, and our prayer chaplains today are Ann DeMichael and Lorraine Pilarski. Would you please stand, Ann and Lorraine? And now if you will all stand for the Lord's Prayer.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not in temptation, but deliver us Please be seated. The Christ in me sees the Christ in you. Everyone's a chosen one, many and a few. All together now it takes two. The Christ in me and the Christ in you. To know to be loved, and I know love will stay alive. If the Christ in me sees the Christ in you, everyone's a chosen one, many and a few. All together now it takes two. Christ in me and the Christ in you. If my friend feels sad or broken, every time that my heart opens, love makes its way into the world. When the Christ in me sees the Christ in you, everyone's a chosen one, many and a few. All together now it takes two. The Christ in me and the Christ in you. I can do all things through the Christ who is my strength. I can do all things through the Christ who is my strength. I can do all things through Christ who is my strength. I can do all things through Christ who is my strength. I can do all things through Christ who is my strength. I can do all things through Christ who is my strength. I can do all things through Christ who is my strength. I can do all things through Christ who is my strength. I can do all things through Christ who is my strength. I can do all things through Christ who is my strength. I can do all things through Christ who is my strength.
When I was in my late 20s, I worked for a major retail company in the Pacific Northwest called Fred Meyer. And early on, I had the opportunity to tag along with the CEO of the company as he went out and he visited the different stores and the various departments there at headquarters. Well, he'd been there 30-something years. I was really struck by so many things about him. I was struck by his confidence and his incredible, profound love of the company. But what I was most struck by was the open-hearted, authentic connection he had with every employee. It didn't matter where they were in the organization or what their role was. It seemed like he knew them all. You know, he knew their names, he would ask about their families, he would ask about their work, how things were going, if there was anything that he could do for them. People loved him. He really epitomized that line from Rudyard Kipling's poem, If, where he says, if you can walk with kings, but not lose the common touch. You see, this CEO always had that common touch, and people felt it. We would say that he was a servant leader, that he put other people before himself. You could feel that in him, in his way of being. It was also very enlightened management because he knew that the company would only succeed if every employee in the company knew that they were valued and respected, knew that every one of them, no matter what their role was, they had an equal and an integral role to play in the success of the company. People feel that. Maybe you felt that in your own career when somebody treats you with that kind of respect. Well, in recent decades, we've had another term for this kind of leadership. It's called level 5 leadership. You may have heard of that before. It's a term that was coined by an author, Jim Collins. He wrote a best-selling business book called Good to Great. And he says that this level 5 leadership, the very top level of leadership, is easy to distinguish. It's easy to see the difference between that and even the level 1 down at level 4. He says that the X factor in great leadership is humility. Humility combined with a ferocious will to achieve something greater than yourself. He says that both level 4 and level 5 leaders have this incredible energy. They're relentless, they're driven, they're ambitious. The difference is in their motivation. This is for level 4 leaders. They're most concerned about themselves and thinking about what they're going to get out of this. How are they looking? What's going to accrue to them? Are they the center of attention? Maybe you know people like this, right? But a level 5 leader takes all of that same energy, that ambition, that drive, that commitment, and channels it into a passion for a cause or a company or a culture, or some kind of quest, something bigger than themselves that they want to give themselves to. And so it's very selfless. They get out of themselves to lead the way for others to get on board. And Jim Collins says that these leaders, their primary focus is on serving. And maybe you've known some leaders like this too. Well, interestingly, I actually doubt very seriously if Jesus ever heard the term servant leadership or level 5 leadership. But in fact, this is exactly the kind of leadership that he embodied and that he exemplified. You see, he taught the disciples that the leader is not above everyone else. The leader is equal with everyone else. And not only that, but that it is the leader's role to serve those whom the leader is leading, to actually be of service to them, to put their needs before his or her own needs. It really is almost a disappearing in order to be of service to the others. So Jesus taught this to his disciples, and one of the common times that he would teach it is that evidently the disciples rather frequently got into arguments about who among them was the greatest, figuring out the pecking order or who was the top dog or whatever. And Jesus would take this opportunity to describe to them what it really meant to be the greatest. So there's a couple of examples in Mark chapter 9, verses 33 to 37, he says. Can't you just picture these guys? Anyway. After they began arguing over who of them was the best, Jesus sat down, called the 12 of them together, and said, "Whoever wants to be first must be last of all and servant of all." And similarly, in Matthew chapter 20, verses 27 to 28, Jesus says, "Whoever wishes to be first among you must be your slave, just as the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve." That is such a powerful line. You know, in Unity, we say that we're not here to worship Jesus or to put him up on a pedestal that we can never reach. We're here to follow him. To me, that line right there that he's here to serve, not to be served, just reinforces that. So in other words, you're not here as the leader to lord it over others and, tell everybody what to do. The first shall be last, and those who want to lead will take care of the others. So that means the leader is not going to be the one muscling up to the front of the line to be the first one to get the goodies or the support or help or whatever it is. That actually the leader is going to go to the back of the line and help everyone else get there. This is really beautiful teaching, and we kind of feel that affinity for Jesus as we hear it. But honestly, what's even more compelling is when he demonstrated it. Truly one of the most beautiful and moving passages in the Gospels, one that always brings a lump to my throat, is during the Lord's Supper, when Jesus washed the feet of all 12 of his disciples. And that included Judas, even though he knew that Judas was going to betray him. This simple, beautiful act of washing their feet. And this is told in the Gospel of John, chapter 13. But as we know here in Unity Renaissance, the Gospel of John actually was based on the Gospel of the Beloved Companion, the complete Gospel of Mary Magdalene. If you didn't know that, now you do. So here's how it's told in here. And I just, as you hear these words, just picture it. Think about what this would have been like. Now, before the feast of the Passover, Yeshua, Jesus, and his disciples gathered together in the city to share a supper. After the meal was ended, Yeshua arose from the table and laid aside his outer garment. He took a towel and he wrapped it around his waist. Then he poured water into the basin and began to wash the disciples' feet and to wipe them with the towel that was wrapped around him. And then he gets into an exchange with Simon Peter. Peter's saying, "Oh no, that's not right. You shouldn't be washing my feet." Yada, yada, yada. And he talks him through it and eventually washes his feet. All the other disciples. So when Yeshua had washed their feet, put his outer garment back on, and sat down again, he said to them, "Do you know what I have done to you? You call me Rabbi, and it is fitting that you do so, for so I am. If I then, the teacher, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have given you an example that you also should do as I have done to you. Only from the truth I tell you, a servant is not greater than his Lord, neither one who is sent greater than he who sent them." In other words, we're all equal. "If you know these things, blessed are you if you do them." In other words, go and do likewise, as he often said to them, and you will be blessed, and you will experience that beautiful sense of uplift. Can you imagine how this would have been for the disciples? Just think about this for a moment. Think how it would feel for you if you had Jesus in front of you and suddenly he goes down and washes your feet. Oh my gosh. Incredibly humbling feeling. There was also a very powerful revolutionary message in there, because right before their eyes, Jesus was completely overturning these ideas of leadership that were being promoted by the religious authorities of the day. Don't you know that I don't really think they were servant leaders, we might say. They were much more into their authority, about being in control, telling people what to do, keeping them in line. So I contacted Jeanne de Quian. She's the person who translated and published the Gospel of the Beloved Companion. I said, tell me a little bit more about the background, or what you know about this particular story of the washing of the feet of the disciples. And she said this, she said, Yeshua was the great leveler. He constantly emphasized the need for humility in all things. This message was hard for the clergy of the day to hear. They had positioned themselves in a place above the people, both socially and politically. And anything or anyone who questioned or threatened their position was immediately put down, or demoted, basically, in the social order. She said the essence of Yeshua's and Miriam's teaching was that we're measured not by our birthright or our social position, but how well what we do is an expression of what we say, how much we're in alignment, how much we're in integrity, and we show up in that way. She said Yeshua washed the feet of his flock. It was a simple but profound statement or acknowledgement of his sameness, a clear declaration of both his empathy and his compassion. You can just feel that, can't you, thinking about that? You know, in truth, this is the kind of leader, these are the kind of leaders that we most admire and we most appreciate, right? And in our heart of hearts, I believe it's our greatest longing of the people we want to be. This is how we want to be. We feel attracted to that idea of putting aside the pretenses and getting out of the ego, flattening out the hierarchy, putting other people before ourselves. You know, this is the kind of selfless service that we've seen in some of the world's great leaders. I'm thinking Mother Teresa and Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King Jr., and actually many of the behaviors of Pope Francis. So there's a great story told about Pope Francis, about what happened after his first night as Pope. So he had been sleeping in his very simple room as Pope Francis. And he came out in the morning and he looked, and there standing outside the door was a Swiss army guard. So Francis said to him, "Who are you?" And the guard said, "I am your guard." And Francis said to him, "Well, where's your chair?" And the guard said, "My commandant says that we must stand while we guard." Francis says to him, "Well, now you have a new commandant." He says, "How long you been here?" And the guard says, "All night." And Francis says, "Wait a minute." And he goes out and he gets a chair and he brings it back out for the guy to sit on. And then he asks the guard, "Have you had anything to eat?" And the guard starts to kind of talk about his commandant again. His voice starts to kind of trail off. And Francis says, "Wait a minute." And he goes inside and he gets a sandwich and he comes out and they sit down and they eat together. Such a simple thing, but so profound. Just stripping away all that pomp and protocol, just to be human with each other. St. Francis of Assisi once said, "Preach the gospel at all times, and when necessary, use words." Live it. You see, it's when we live it that it changes our lives. And actually feels incredibly good. The ego will have us believe we got to cling on to our role or our status or our position, whatever it is. But in reality, you put all that stuff aside, man, you feel wide open and gloriously alive. And so with that in mind, I'd like to do a little demonstration now. We're going to have a little virtual foot washing. Don't worry, it's not you. With just a couple of select folks, so that we can get a sense of really how this feels. And so with that, I'd like to begin by calling up our wonderful, beautiful business manager here, Paul Mitchum, also the head of our live streaming and sound team, and my right-hand person here at Uni Renaissance. I was going to use real water, then I realized you would all freak out, so I'm not doing that today. Paul is putting his feet into the pail, and I am pouring my water over his feet. And as I wash them, my dear friend want you to know what an incredible honor it is to work with you and to know you, and how brilliant that light inside of you is, and how grateful I am every day for you. The ways you serve, the ways you love, the ways you give. I behold that beautiful spiritual essence in you, and I'm so grateful. And now I'm trying Paul's feet with all my love and gratitude. Thank you, beloved. I'd like to call up Ann DeMichael, our cherished prayer and pastoral care director. It's empty now. It's all clean and purelled. Now I'm pouring water on your lovely feet. And as I wash them, my beloved friend, I have so much gratitude in my heart for this amazing soul that you are. I'm grateful for your friendship, for your mentorship, for your abiding light, for that boundless love within you. And I know that all good things are flowing into you and expressing as you. I'm so grateful to serve with you, Anne. With all my heart, I love you. Thank you. And now I'm drying Anne's feet, beholding that light in her. And so it is. Bless your hand. You see, this teaching about being a servant leader isn't just about Jesus. It isn't just about CEOs. It's about every single one of us. And what a perfect time for us to be getting this message. Because we're all leaders in some way or another. And we're all being called to lead right now. To lead is to serve. Like never before, we are experiencing the incredible, obvious interconnection of all humanity. And this opportunity in us to rise into that, to our highest and best self. Of course, we take care of our own health. Of course, we take necessary precautions. But also ask ourselves, how can I serve? How can I give to others now? You know, we're more separated and isolated. It's going to be this way for a little while. In what ways can I use high tech to achieve high touch? Can I pick up the phone? Can I call someone across town? Just let them know I'm thinking about them. Let them know they matter to me. The people in nursing homes, people who can't have visitors now. What can I do? What note can I send? What prayer can I pray? This is what it's about. And this actually is the opportunity before us, as challenging and frustrating as this whole thing is. We have the opportunity to realize, in a way we never have before, our oneness, and to rise into that. And as we do, we'll come through this virus. It will come, it will go. But hopefully we'll be elevated into a new level of consciousness, the kind of consciousness that can change the world. Thank you all for being here today. Let's turn now to our meditation. I invite you to close your eyes, getting comfortable in your seat. Breathe in deeply. Release and let it go. Feeling the peace of God wash over you in this very moment. Feeling all the love and support of people who care about you, God with skin on, all the ones rooting for you. Tune into that incredible wealth of light and strength, faith, power, and love within you. We each have everything we need to come through what is before us. Now is our time to tap into all of those beautiful spiritual powers and put them to use. Always with that gentle guidance, that assurance and support of spirit. I invite you to breathe in and release. Release into the flow of life, into the goodness of life. Know that all is unfolding as it should and all will be well. Allow yourself to rest for a few moments as you listen to your own inner guidance in the silence. We feel gratitude stir within us as we think about our shared journey of awakening, as we think about our companionship with one another, those who've touched our lives and those whose lives we can touch. We celebrate the glory of God expressing in each and every human being. And for all of this, we are grateful. Thank you, God. And so it is. Amen.
Flow, Spirit, flow through me as I open up to be an expression of your unfolding peace. Show, Spirit, show through me as I open up to be an expression of your unfolding love.
For the sharing of our love offering. And I just want to say, just put a little invitation out there. If you're in a position to give a little extra generously, we would really welcome that as we go through this time of diminished activity and transition. We know we're going to be just fine, but also know that we appreciate any extra you might be able to contribute today, knowing that we appreciate every single penny, no matter what. So if you'd like to give via your smartphone, you can do so by texting the word give, especially for those of you who are watching online today. Text the word give to 540-418-1228 to get it set up. It's easy as pie after that. You just put the number in there and you're good to go. While we're not having in-person services, you are also welcome to mail in checks if you'd like to do that, or use PayPal, send in a credit card slip. Feel free to call the church if we need to give you any assistance on that. And thank you for your love and generosity. And with that, I invite you to hold your gift in your hand as we bless it with our offertory blessing. Together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
Lily's going to debut a brand new song for you. This is just nominated for Posse Award, written by Patricia Bahia. Ready? Here we go. One, two, three.
Everybody's got a little something only you can bring. It's a puzzle, put it all together. Need every piece to make it complete, yeah. Every note to make a symphony. All the voices singing harmony. All the colors of the rainbow shining. Everyone, say yes.
Say yes.
Say yes.
Say yes.
Say yes.
Yeah.
Say yes to a world with a little more love. Feel you're insignificant, like a tiny little grain of sand. What you do and what you say makes a difference. Go ahead and reach out your hand. Say hello, open a door, bring in the day. You might get to know 'em. A little love just keeps on growing. Change your life without even knowing. Say yes.
Say yes.
Say yes.
Say yes.
Say yes.
Yeah.
Say yes to a world with a little more love.
It doesn't matter where you come from, gender or race, spiritual beliefs or orientation. Everyone's got the same motivation. Love is love, the same situation. Give love and help one another. In this world, there's only each other. One blood, the human race. If you feel the same, let me hear you say.
Say yes.
Say yes.
Say yes.
Say yes.
Say yes.
Yeah.
Say yes to a world with a little more love. A little more love. Oh yeah.
Say yes. Say yes. Say yes. Say yes. Say yes. Say yes.
Love, say yes to a world with a little more love.
That's a good one. I like that song. All right, let's turn to gratitude within, feeling this wonderful energy of community, uplifted by our music. We're so grateful for this community. We're so grateful for this time together, the ways in which we get to learn and grow. We're grateful for these gifts and support of Unity Renaissance, and now we send them forth as we transform lives that transform the world. Thank you, guys. Oh, hey, I got mine too. Put it in here. There you go. Okay, there you go. Okay, thank you very much. Hey, we're in for a treat right now. The wonderful Valerie Jones is going to come up and tell us about how we can spread the word about Unity Renaissance. Yes. So we're realizing we're going to be serving virtually more and more. We can reach a worldwide audience through technology. And so Valerie's going to tell us a little bit not only about what's going on, but how we can help.
Hello, live stream watchers. It's good to see you out there today. We've got like 45 people on there right now watching, and a bunch of people. I think it's like up to like 85 comments. People are really weighing in on things. Talk about a sense of community. You don't even have to be sitting here to feel it. At home, when I watch, which is a lot, I tear up just like I do here. So you can really feel the spirit in this place and here too. So you can still be here. Okay, as we go forward. So if you haven't watched a live stream, if you see the slide, you can go to either the Unity Renaissance website or Facebook, and you can watch it. On Facebook, you can comment and say hi to everyone, or like, I'm watching for Arizona, which I did last week. So you can do that. And the next slide, please. We now have a newly updated YouTube channel in addition. So when we talk about transforming lives that transform the world, people may never make it inside like you all are so blessed to do, but people all over the world can now, and I'm telling you, people from like between 15 to 20 different countries have been tuning into YouTube. How exciting is that? So it's really exciting to be able to share that with people and share it with your friends and just, really work through that. It's so beautiful. You can watch any service at any time. And we are excerpting the talks because we have the full services with the music and the beautiful meditations, but we also have just the talks because sometimes people just want to tune in to that part. So we provide that for them. If you can go to the next slide, please. So to get there, you go to the YouTube icon on the Unity Renaissance webpage, and you click on that, and then that will take you to, next slide, there we are. You can help others find us by subscribing, by watching, and liking. And this is what NPR says. Help other people find us by subscribing, watching, and liking, because what happens, even especially on YouTube, there's an algorithm that says, oh, this many people are watching, and they're watching all the way through. This must be an important message. So they recommend it to other people, and other people, and other people all over the world. And it doesn't cost anything except your help. And what we need is your help to watch and make sure you watch all the way through. As I mentioned, that's really important. And YouTube then sees us as high value. So if you can go to the next slide, please. Oh, actually, can you back up one? It talks about subscribing. Thank you. When you go to the page, in the upper right, see where the circle is up there? You click subscribe. This is also important because I found out that subscribing actually helps, right? Yeah, with the algorithm. I learned that. I didn't realize that part. So these guys helped me out last service. So subscribing is important, and if you click the little bell, which they also helped me with, that also increases the algorithms. Oh, these people are important. They've got a great message. So go there and subscribe, and that's really important. If you go to the next slide, it's at the very top of the website. It's in the menu, like the hierarchical menu across the top. You can see that. I'm glad you're looking at it right now. That's pretty cool. You can also go to youtube.com and enter Unity Renaissance Spiritual Life Center. And as soon as we have 3 more subscribers, I can change that URL to youtube.com/unityren. So go out there and subscribe right now so it's not youtube.com gobbledygook. So the next 3, I expect to see at 100 by the time I'm done speaking. Wouldn't that be great? So when you do go watch, we have playlists on there. And at the top are just the messages. The next one is the full service. The next one is a little short why I love Unity Renaissance. And some of them are from the services, and some are just from individual interviews. And they're heartwarming, and they're 60 to 90 seconds. Watch all of them all the way through. And here's the secret with this. To get the number of views to get YouTube's attention, that's about 1,500 views per video. So help us out and start by watching the playlist of the talks of Reverend Paula, Reverend Richard, and the other speakers. And you can let that play through. If you click play all, they will play sequentially. Now, what I've done in the car is I use it like a podcast, and I can just listen. Or let's say I've already seen the talk before and I might have listened to it again, but I want to make sure I help with a count or two. So I'll play it and I'll fold laundry and I'll do other things. So if you don't mind watching on those playlists all the way through, that's going to help us get to more people. And that really, really helps the message and the people out there. I have friends who I set up a watch party on Facebook. I've had as many as 30. I have friends who've gone on to YouTube and see things, and people I never imagined would be interested in the Unity message, or I couldn't say, you really ought to watch this, because that's a little too for some of them. But they can come to us, and it's beautiful. So if you wouldn't mind helping us out with that, that would be wonderful, because it's your message too. We're at 109. Yes! Okay, as soon as the service ends, I'm getting on here and I'm changing that URL. I love this. Okay. And how many of you already have a YouTube login? Okay, good. If you don't, we're going to be putting things in each of the weekly emails, like little nuggets of how to do this and how to do that. And if any of you are interested, we'd love to have some volunteers. You don't have to have real skills on this stuff, because it can also be a career enhancement for you. A lot of people work in a place where if they knew how to do these skills, they could create more value of themselves to their employer. Maybe get a raise. So think about that. All right, everyone. I expect to see you subscribing, and because of what's happening, tune into that live stream and feel it. So thank you so much.
exciting. I hope you all do that. I know I will. I'm learning so much. All right. Well, this is the time where we welcome those who are new to Unity Renaissance. Anybody here today for the first, second, or third time? All right. We're just going to breeze right along. Come on up, Laurel. Maybe we have some new viewers online. And if you're new, we just send you lots of extra love. What? Okay. I still don't understand her. All right, just a couple of really quick announcements. So super, super important right now that if you aren't already receiving our weekly e-newsletter, please, please, please sign up for it. We don't spam you. We don't give the list to anybody else. We just send out information about Unity Renaissance, pretty critical right now as we kind of navigate through these next couple of weeks. So to do that, you just go to our website. By the way, there's where the YouTube icon is. You can see over there. But where that circle is, it says join our list. You just click on that, go ahead and sign up. You'll start getting the weekly email, but also if we send out special notification about anything changing or any new services we might be offering, we're talking about doing some different things virtually during this interlude here, you'll know all about that. So that'll be our best way of reaching out to you, so please take advantage of that. Secondly, we are looking for more volunteers for ushers, for hospitality, and for our sound and live streaming team. We won't have ushers or hospitality for a couple of weeks here. We still will have the sound and live stream team here. We'll also have our music team, platform hosts, a few other key roles in producing the service. But if you're interested in serving on any of those, please see me after the service today, and we can start making plans for when all that comes back into being. All right, that's it for our announcements. Let's stand together now and welcome our children. There you go. You got the whole platform over here to yourself. And you're loved. Hey, come on up, you guys. Would you like to share anything?
Yes.
Great. Because if you didn't, we'd have nobody. Well,
Peace.
except for these guys.
Peace is like, it tastes like a nice plate of warm, melty chocolate chip cookies with macadamia nuts. And it feels like a nice, relaxing meadow of flowers. It smells like a sugary dessert that just came out of the oven. It looks like a nice bed with lots of your fluffy stuffed animals.
Aww.
It sounds like a singer with a velvety voice humming a beautiful melody.
Aww, that's peace. Multi-dimensions.
And I'm doing a project where
Can I help?
Sure. Oops. Can you put that?
She's been busy.
I'm doing a project where I'm going to deliver these cards around my neighborhood.
Oh, that's so sweet. Taking
Because
cards around to the neighborhood.
Because people may be sitting inside and not allowed to go
That's so
because of the coronavirus.
Oh my God, that's just what we talked about. You're doing it. There you go, sweetheart. Beautiful, beautiful job. How about you guys? What you got to share today? Tell us, Lee.
Today we talked about how we aren't gonna let the virus separate us, or
Great.
we're not gonna we're gonna try to be with each other in a safe way, and we're gonna try to make sure that we don't fall off, and that we keep in touch with each other.
Beautiful. We talked about that too. It's really important. Keep the human connection going.
Yeah.
Love it. Thank you. Anybody else?
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody
No?
else?
No?
Wash your hands, please.
Wash your hands really well.
Buy as much toilet paper as possible.
Buy as much toilet paper as possible. Yeah. Also, I was reading an article today. It said drink a lot of water. A lot of water makes a very big difference. Well, I just want to tell you how much I'm going to miss you. these next couple weeks, but hopefully you'll be tuning in online. I kid you not, these talks are planned like months in advance. Next Sunday, my talk title is Be Not Afraid. That's kind of uncanny, isn't it? Anyway, but we look forward to connecting with you online. If you have any questions about that, see me or Valerie or somebody after the service. And with that, let's stand together now and not join hands, but join spiritual energy for our prayer for protection, followed by our peace song. Together, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is.